The website, the logo, like you're talking about that first impression, the aesthetic of it is wildly important. And there are other things that are as, if not more important, but when you're talking about starting a brand, growing a brand, that ultimately that's what you're supporting with advertising.
Welcome to the Lead In Podcast, where we dive deep into genuine stories of leaders who've seized control of their journey. This podcast is brought to you by LeadHub, your growth partner for the trades. And now, let me kick it over to our guy, Austin Lenny.
Guys, we got him back. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the job. So what is your actual defined role at LeadHub? What is your fancy title, and is it on your business card? Do you wear it on your moniker? Do you walk around? What is that fancy title?
Yeah, currently it's on a business card and the name tag until I get it tattooed on the forehead. That's the next step. But yeah, I'm a media buyer.
Okay.
So
the problem is that media gets thrown around a million times. So what is the media defined by in this context of your company?
Yeah. So historically we do a lot of digital marketing at LeadHub. So people have come to us on the media buying side talking about cost per click platforms like Google Ads, Bing Ads, cost per lead platforms like Google Local Service, Angie's, and then the social media side of things, Facebook, TikTok. So that's traditionally what we've done. What we've been moving into over the last couple of years is really thinking about, and you and I had a conversation in our previous conversation, talking about, listening to yourself in the moment, doing what's right in the moment. And a lot of what we're realizing is for some of our clients, what they need isn't necessarily as bottom of the funnel as what we've been specializing in. And so we've been expanding a lot into the media buying of billboards, of direct mail, developing creative for TV and radio spots, just thinking about marketing a little more holistically, where previously we outsourced some of that work. So I guess it's a little broad, but if it's media, I will try to buy it.
So here's what's interesting, right? And I've always had this tactic since I was a kid. You can ask every babysitter, every teacher, every mom. If everybody's going right, I'm going to go left. Okay. So meaning I coin my own phrase, which is what we're executing in this community, along with what you're bringing to the table, as hand-to-hand marketing.
Okay.
And that's what I did last night, going to a chamber event, going to another business event, shaking hands, introducing myself, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people aren't willing to do that anymore, and we rely too much on digital. I'm going to unpack something that I think a lot of people don't understand. The biggest issue with marketing right now is it's changing every week, okay? So you as a business owner who's running a business cannot keep up with the changes in the marketing. That's where a company such as yourself comes in. Vice versa on the HVAC side. The one thing I did not take into account was the technology and the regulations that are getting into the sector for refrigeration, Wi-Fi, changing of control panels. That's always changing. Yeah. So why is it, if I'm a business owner, if I'm trying to keep up with that, why am I worried about my media? Like my marketing, you don't even know where AI, this thing. And so my number one advice to everybody, I do this with my podcasting, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you're going to start advertising, right, I think you need to pick one vertical and just run it enough to get enough data to get the information that you need to then add a second. Am I wrong or right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So where is it? I know it's different for companies, but like, is it location based? Is it what the business is? Is it all those things that you should pick from?
Yeah, and all of those things are determining factors. And I don't want to say pick one and stick with it, whether it works or not. The going to the chamber last night, doing that hand to hand,
huge.
We Ben, our company founder, all the time we'll get we'll get folks coming to us for some advice on starting up an HVAC company, or what's the first step? Exactly, kind of what you're talking about. What's my first step? And a lot of people have this idea that, well, I need to spend a certain amount of money in Google Ads, or I need to. We have the Spurs here in town, so like I need to get my commercial on the Spurs games. That's just, they have this impression of maybe that's what someone else did, or this is the way it's always been done. But yeah, things are always changing. And Ben likes to say, referring to cost per lead platforms. Well, tell you what, we'll get you set up on Angie, and the way that those leads work, you'll get a notification at the same time as 5 other HVAC companies, and whoever can get on it and go get that lead is the one who gets the business, right? Google Ads works a little differently. You'll get a call directly from a customer who wants to hire Austin to come fix his HVAC unit, right? So Ben's theory is, if you can't handle that $40 lead for Angie, if your call center isn't strong enough to outreach and go win that business, if you're not the type of business owner who's going to go to the chamber and shake hands, and you want to sit at home and watch TV last night instead of going out and making moves, why do you think you're ready for Google Ads? Like, you have to do that. Yeah. Like, if you're not plucking the low-hanging fruit, like, get off the freaking ladder to the top of the tree. Like, start with the stuff that makes the most sense for where you are in your moment, and do everything you can to maximize that. Then once that's good and tight, then you can start going after some of those other channels. You can branch out from that one. You can do, you can invest more in, yeah.
When I think at the end of the day, before you do ads, before you do any of those things, you got to get the website right.
Oh,
you got to get the website right. You got to, SEO to me is the lowest hanging fruit, but not even from a direct lead point of view. It's more from an aesthetic framework point of view of, is this a company I trust? Everything's a signal, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what people realize. Like, so I think a lot of people, they jump on the ad train and the social media train too quickly, and they haven't even started at first base yet.
100%. 100% agree. Yeah. And there is the website, the logo, like you're talking about, that first impression, the aesthetic of it is wildly important. And there are other things that are as, if not more important. But when you're talking about starting a brand, growing a brand, that ultimately that's what you're supporting with advertising. Like, you're not advertising yourself. Yes. You're advertising this image that you've created for yourself. So if that image isn't looking good, then you got issues.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's so many, I think what's interesting, right? And so the problem is that you can zoom out as a company and you realize that in the beginning of a smaller company, let's say you have a couple technicians, you are the thing. Like, you are the person that they're drawn to, and that's how they did business in the past, and they still do business to this day. But as you get bigger, you can't be everything to everybody, right? And so this is where the digital marketing presence as a whole, I think, I've talked to a bunch of people, some of your clients, I've had them on the podcast, they will tell you they rely too heavily on ads, and then they scale back. And one of the frameworks that Daniel McCarthy gave me that I thought was great is, he said 33, 33, 33. So 33 on ads, 33 on organic, and 33 on the website. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's exactly how I would look at it. And the thing is the strategicness behind it, of understanding. I always say this: no matter where you are in the world, if it's TikTok, Twitter, whatever you want to say, if you notice, everybody's on Facebook. So, you could say whatever you want about LinkedIn and Twitter and everything, but no matter your age. And so you have to ask yourself, do a little research, get the census of the location you're in. What's the percentage of older people to younger people? If you're in a city, use TikTok, because that's the younger crowd that own homes. Like, I don't think people are taking in like this much of a how old are the homes in your area? There's so I mean it's so much
Yeah.
to aggregate through.
There is, but there's also so much of it I think can be chalked up to common sense. Like all the stuff,
Okay, walk me through that. Walk me through that.
like everything that you just described, like
Mm-hmm.
you can put on blinders to common sense, right? Where, someone like you walks in into to Seneca,
Mm-hmm.
and you look around and you see the older homes and you see the older folks and you think, yeah, this is going to be different than advertising in Williamsburg, right? It's like there's
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah,
different
this is gonna be
crowd.
different. Okay, well, perfect example. I'll just give you stuff that I know because I talk to people. So Kansas City has 9 private equity HVAC backed companies in the city alone.
Mhm.
Okay, I know this because a guy I know has a company my size. It says on an average, those companies spend between $50,000 to $200,000 a month on ads.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
he's spending like 5 or 10 grand. That's going to be hard.
yeah.
That game is a knife fight. Okay, well, I have none of those things. And so I don't need to come out and slam all this money down because word of mouth is going to be a bigger push for me. So you never have so my number one thing that I tell myself on a regular basis is no matter how big we get, I'm never going to somebody else said it day one. I'm never not going to do the thing I would do on day one. Well,
Yeah,
how are you going to meet with all your employees one on one? Well, it's going to take me all year when we have 1,000, but I'll do it.
yeah,
Like, because that's what I think what happens in business. And I'm going to speak up for you because you can't say it because you're too nice and your company's too nice. Marketing professionals, third party companies, are the first people to not get any credit when they crush it for their clients because it's an outward expense. And so I have a quote that is the best quote in the history of the world by Alex Hormozy. It's amazing. I told it to Conrad and Chase, and they were like, "Oh, that's really good." The farther the person or the company that you help gets along from the help that you gave them, the more they think they could do it themselves
Mm,
because you've made
yeah,
them so great.
yeah,
And so the problem is that the data points of marketing don't lie.
They don't lie.
And so people they look at broad strokes numbers instead of understanding the mechanics of the business. Okay, the question that you need to ask yourself: how much organic marketing are we doing within the company?
yeah,
Like to then marry with the paid ads. It's all one. We're all in a trust tree together. This is a Will Smith or a Will Ferrell moment. We're in the trust tree together.
yeah. There we go.
It all has to work. The direct marketing's matching the SEO, matching the Facebook. It's all this kind of like, and then what's crazy, the worst part, and this is what's hard for business owners, a lot of the compounding doesn't show up for 6 to 8 months later.
Yeah, yeah, and it's especially with those, investing in the website, letting that grow, the SEO, just like you're mentioning. This is all
Mm-hmm.
tying back to I love you got these threads, man. You're doing great, but the cook getting away from the kitchen, and not
Yes.
losing
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, it is a really important thing, I think, for people to keep in mind when they're starting a business.
What is your definition? What is your difference between brand awareness and paid marketing?
Well, so paid marketing can be apples and oranges. Paid marketing could be um, a part of your brand awareness, but there's also, I'm sure you're familiar with the term, just brand lift. So like what do your initiatives do, whether they're spending money on things or going to the chamber to shake hands with people? Like how is that lifting your brand? And you can think about overall brand lift that comes from a spot that you put out there, and that's building the awareness of your brand. Basic sales funnel, one of the steps is consideration, right? And so that's when your brand awareness really pays off, right? So first people are aware of you, then they consider you because of that recognition, the recall, and then the paid marketing can affect any part of the funnel, but certainly building brand awareness is one of the most fundamental ways that people should be spending their dollars.
And then, your general advice, like what is like top of the head just currently, what is something that people are missing when they're looking at wanting to market their company?
That's a really good question. And it's different. I don't know that there's like we work with about 100 clients. I don't know that I've met two that are exactly the same. And everybody has their flaws. I don't know if I've met anybody with the same two flaws. But I think there's an understanding that you've expressed just through our conversation today of sort of the holistic nature of advertising and the way that these things compound and work together. And that's honestly, that's probably the biggest oversight. So we have bottom of the funnel tactics that we're capturing leads and getting you calls so that your folks can be out in the field doing work, right? And that's super important. I think a lot of people focus on that and don't think about the ways that, like you mentioned, the website or the logo or these things might be preventing people from calling that ad when they see it. There is a holistic nature to marketing that's a bigger holistic picture of your business, and marketing is a piece of that, but it has to all work together, and oftentimes I think people can overlook that and really focus in on the wrong issue, or just too narrow an issue without considering its implications elsewhere.
I love it. Guys, all you business owners out there, I want to leave you with the most important question that I can. Okay? And this is going to hurt some of y'all. When is the last time that you experienced your business? Not ran your business. When's the last time you experienced your business as a customer? Would you hire you? Is it easy when I click on that ad to get to the person I need to? We had an ad come through the website yesterday, and the girls called within 2 minutes. That's amazing. That's amazing. A lot of that's helped from Lead Hub and creating workflows in our business. What an amazing, and I called the lady because it was a big county client and we never worked for them before, and I want to introduce myself. That's different. That was a high touch. That was a strategic client. Most of the time, I don't have to worry about that. And so I ask every one of you business owners, when's the last time? Let me tell you something. If you want to know if your company's doing good or not, have them come over and with my fiance home. She tells me everything that's wrong with the company when they come over to fix their house. She's like, they shouldn't do this, they should do this, and I'm like, baby, thank you, like, and it's real raw, and it's so have them go work on your grandmother's house or your mother's house or your cousin's house and get actual, not a secret shopper, but actual experience, and you'd be surprised what you learn. Something I'm doing next week. I go work with my guys. And because I want to see a different point of view for my company. So when I'm making decisions back here, I have that thought in my mind from the forefront, the tip of the spear.
Yeah. You know what, man, that's beautiful. Experience your business. And again, how much of that is listening, just being open to listening to other perspectives, listening to your environment, and being honest about what that means, and being open to that feedback, even if it's from your fiance.
Who's the toughest critic, for sure. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Really enjoyed it. And share it with a friend, send it around, and we'll see you next time.
Folks, if you made it to the end of the episode, I'm sure you found some value with what you're listening to. If you could send this to a friend, rate us and review us, share us around. The more that you share us, the more that we can share content with you. Thank you all so much for your time and listening, and we'll see you next time.